I want you to write this down. When we think about all these people, well, Ecclesiastes, first of all, says this, Ecclesiastes 6, that there is an evil I've seen under the sun. It lies heavy on mankind. A man to whom God gives wealth, possessions, honor, so that he's lacking nothing in all that he desires, yet God does not give him the power to enjoy those things. Write this down if you have your notes. We have an emotional bank account. You and I have an emotional bank account that money and honor cannot fill. It just can't fill it. And I think that's the lie that a lot of us believe that keep us from generosity is that once I have enough, then I'll start to be generous. Like, once we pay off the house, then we'll do this thing. Or once we get enough for the kids' college, or, once I get this promotion, then we'll start to give, or we'll be generous here. And then it's like, well, once I, do this, and it just keeps going. You're never going to fulfill that fully in those things. And it reminded me of Jeremiah 2, where God says to his people this, for my people, and he's talking about believers, people who follow God, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living water, but they've hewed or dug out for themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that can't hold water. A cistern was a 30 or 40 foot hole that you would dig into the rock, line it with clay. And in Jerusalem, since they were on a mountain, it collected rain. If your cistern leaked, that was life or death. Water was life or death. You with me? To have a broken cistern is not a good thing. It can't hold anything. It's futile trying to keep filling it. If you're a parent, I got some advice for you. We got two boys. If you got two boys, praying for you, first of all. But somebody told me a long time ago, with boys, you've got to wear them out. Okay? So you got to wear it, because otherwise they will fulfill their number one purpose in life, which is to destroy your house, right? So my wife and I, we would take them to the beach. This is what we would do. We'd go to the beach and we'd camp, in the sand, and they would go play in the ocean. We got the whole ocean. They go play in the ocean for like 30 minutes. But we would bring a bucket and shovel, because they would come back and then they'd start digging. And it always works, okay? And even with grown men, it always works. They start digging. And they would start digging ocean number 2. It's like, it's a kiddie pool, but it's like, we're making ocean number 2 right here. And then they would start trying to fill it. So they would run, right, all the way down to the water, their little bucket, come back, dump it in, right? That water would last about 1.5 seconds, and then they'd run back. And I would just sit back, and we don't tell them, right? Like, you don't tell them it's not going to work. Because they spent 3 hours running and digging, trying to make, the kiddie pool version of the ocean that's right there. And the whole time I'm like, man, thank you, God, because we got to get them exhausted, because we can't have them fulfilling purpose number 1, which is to destroy my drywall, right? Sometimes I just look at my 11-year-old and I'm like, I don't know what you're thinking about doing next, but just don't do it, okay? Like, I can't afford for you to do it. I get this other picture, though, when we go to the beach. My wife stands up. She's like, I'll see you in a little bit. She goes and wades out, waist deep in the waves, and then she just floats. She just lays on her back and just enjoys God. Prays, worships. She gets away from her phone, gets away from me, gets away from the kids, right? And she just lets the waves like carry her back, till she lands on the sand. And she leaves refreshed. Our boys leave, they buckle and they're out, in the parking lot. Satan wants to do 2 things in your life. He wants to keep you away from that ocean of who God says you are, your purpose in this world. And he wants to keep you digging. He wants to keep you distracted, and he wants to keep you exhausted with these other things that can't really fulfill you, so that you don't fulfill your purpose in this world. That's what he's doing in your life, unless something changes.